All right, the question is, how do you know when you're done? If you're bench pressing, you're squatting, what is the end, or what makes the last set the last set? And the way I look at it is, every exercise, however many reps and sets you're going to do, it's like a movie. And every movie that I've seen has an ending. And I like to look at it from an author's perspective is I'm going to plan the ending. And the reason this is important is because this ending is going to, number one, offer you opportunities to push past previous limits, but it's also going to be a great way to manage fatigue. So if your mindset is maxing out means 1 rep max, and that's the only thing you think of when maxing out, this video is for you. I'm going to make it short. I have 4 endings. The exercise is done whenever I do one of these 4 things. This is for my programming. Every time I lay out numbers, I also lay out the endings for every week set. It's very advanced. It's a very good strategy to avoid burnout and allow yourself to keep pushing. So my 4, I'm going to go with 1. I'm going to finish with a 1, 2, or 3 rep max. I'm going to use as many reps as possible, between 80 and 95%. So let me just give you this mindset, it might blow you away, is every rep max is an AMRAP. If you take that mindset, if you're going for a single and you think to yourself, I'm going to do as many reps as possible, even if it's only 1, it makes sure that you didn't miss the opportunity to do it twice. So using these percentages, I'll give the percentage at the end, and it's 80. Last set, 80%, as many reps as possible. That's how you get your 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever rep max. So if you ever see me doing a rep max or a set of 10, I guarantee you it was a last set and it was a rep max. The third one, back down pause reps. I strategically use pause reps at the end after traditional reps because traditional reps are going to recruit more muscle fibers with that turnaround. So it preps me, it sets me up to have a big pause rep. That's what I do. I use 1, 2, and 3 rep maxes on my pause reps. The 4th one, I'm going to look at 18 to 36 total reps. That's where I program for tonnage whenever I'm trying to accumulate tonnage. And the last set is going to put me past a previous best, whether it was, I'm looking at 18 reps. Some of you might have been on my programs where you'll see 6 sets of 3. The next week will be 9 sets of 2. That's an easy win because you're only doing doubles. So you're just looking to finish past the last week. It depends on what program, depends on the goal of the person, the stage of lifting they're in. This one is something that nobody thinks about. I have personally 18, 21, 24, 30, and 36 rep maxes. I do personally. And that's another way, again, to expand your way of maxing out. Give yourself new ways to grow. Now, it comes with a mindset. I want to share the mindset because many people are thinking, oh, you can't max out every day. Yes, you can max out every day. You just need a couple key ideas to buy into, and it'll keep you from burnout. The first one is today is not yesterday, meaning if I'm lifting today on deadlift, and I, in the past, have done 500 pounds, that doesn't mean today I think and going to try to do 505. Of course I want to, but the previous sets that build up to it are going to dictate what I do that day. It could be a lot higher than 500. It could be I'm down and I'm at 90% strength and I can't do 500. But what I'd say is if you're at 90%, you can't match or beat a previous record, and you're at 90% and you do 90% for that day, it's 100%. So with that mindset, I can tell you what I'm not going to do is force myself to do a weight because in my head I've done it before, I should do it today. That you want to avoid. That's something you learn with experience, and I'm going to pass my experience. If that was something that you've done in the past, you're going to avoid a lot of frustration because when you empty the tank like that too many times over and over, all you're doing is you're creating this longer need for recovery, and it's just this ongoing. You're going to be frustrated every week. So trust me, a bad week is never. There are no bad weeks. They're down weeks or up weeks. The down weeks are what make the up weeks. So if you just look at performance in general, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to be up one week, you're going to be down the next week. That's another reason planning the endings is so important, especially from a coach's perspective, because now I can use my intelligence to say, okay, last week we did 1 rep max. I'm not going to do anything close. The next week we're doing something different. I'm staying away from that. So I'm going to jump to, on the mindset, number 3. I'm going to jump down to number 3. Never attempt the same max 2 weeks in a row. You're going to run into frustrations. That is not how the body adapts, and I don't want to train that way. So if it's me and I do a 1 rep max 1 week, I'm going to go to an AMRAP set of 80%. So think of it. You're going from maxing out at 100% for the day to maxing out at 80%. That's completely different. You're never going to be frustrated because there's 2 different things going on, and you're giving yourself 2 different types of stimulus, and you're avoiding. The 1 rep max there's different recovery needs from that versus the AMRAP. So contrasting your ending is going to help you continue to move forward for the long run. The second one in the middle, you want to manage failed reps. Personally, I haven't failed a rep in years. Now, if you're not a competitive power lifter, I'm not so sure it would be a smart thing to fail reps. I would suggest I said manage because it depends on who you are, but you don't want to be failing reps every week. I don't think you want to do it. You definitely don't want to be failing reps every day. And if you do have a failed rep, don't repeat it. If you fail it, move on. Move on. You're generally not going to get stronger after a failed rep. You're generally at a compromised state, and it's just better to move on. Get it next time. So depending on your goals, use a spotter and manage or at least limit failed reps, because failed reps, you don't want to avoid them completely. They happen, but if you're failing them too many, that time it takes to recover from a failed rep, you're just extending this recovery period, and it's going to be a continued frustration. So take these tips, apply them to your training, and let me know how it goes.